is Tottenham against West Ham, and who else to get in the studio? Nicky Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Yeah, very well.
Yeah, big game this weekend for both clubs, going into it.
Yeah, do you know what? I was looking at this the other day, and we've had a really bad start. Change of manager and all of that sort of stuff. But if we beat you, we go above you. I couldn't believe it because I'll be honest. I watched the Man United game last week. I was so impressed. I was thinking, yeah, it's all coming together now. And then I'm looking at your point. And then, who'd you lose to? Brighton, wasn't it?
Brighton, 2-0 up at half time,
3-2 down.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, I was thinking, mate, we could actually go above these. If we do that, that's going to be travesty for you guys. And
you bet.
And it's bad for us.
It is,
and bad, yeah.
Especially if you look at our London derby record under Ange Postecoglou. I think we've drawn 2, haven't won a game against Arsenal, Chelsea or West Ham since he's come. But I'm looking at West Ham. Lopetegui's just come in, 7 games in. Everyone was looking from the outside, looking in the summer that West Ham had. Everyone thought West Ham were really going to kick on this season. What's going on? Is it just a bit of teething problems? What's happening at West Ham?
To be honest, again, we was talking about this before. The Moyes thing. I wasn't feeling Moyes anymore, and I think, and I'm sure we'll speak about Ange in a second. But when you get to a manager's point of it's not working anymore, there's no point in carrying on. So I was like, yeah, get him out. When I see the signings coming, looks fantastic on paper, fantastic. But I did say at the beginning of the season, you can go back and check my content if you don't believe me. It's going to be teething problems. It's a big uphaul. You've changed the whole defence. You've changed the whole attack. Midfield. You're still struggling to find that focal point of an attack. It's going to be a big upheaval this season. So don't expect sort of miracles from the first start. So you've got Kilman in, you've got Todibo in, Wan-Bissaka, Alvarez, now playing alongside Rodriguez, and you get Waterboard. It's a big overhaul. These things are not easy. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get lucky and they just, you come flying out the traps. But I did say, do not expect us to come straight away. I think we'll struggle for the first, but I think we'll finish strong. And I think, listen, it's never easy when you start at home to Chelsea. Chelsea have come out of the traps flying. I don't know where that's come from, to be honest with you. When you've got a player like Cole Palmer, it's difficult. Then you've got Man City there. Aston Villa are on fire. We on a day we probably should have drew the game, but we lost the game. It's the first game. But then we've been away and not lost. So, you know what I mean? You balance all that out, and then you beat sort of Ipswich, and I think to myself, now you can start to see it, but there is still problems there. Don't get me wrong, there is still problems there, but if we can get it right, I think the balance is there. And I think, listen, there is questions about Lopetegui.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because the lot of the kind of narratives around Moyes was, obviously very pragmatic. You've got such great attacking players. He doesn't get the best out of them, and you play this style of football which could be more geared to getting the best out of these attacking players. Now you've brought in Lopetegui, who's, to be fair, obviously is a great manager. Has won things at Sevilla, and he's taken top jobs. But he's not exactly a manager known for playing attacking football as much as he's a great manager. So, is there a bit of a concern that, from what you've seen so far, that it's not quite the football that you wanted, the change in the footballing style that you wanted?
Some of the football has been really good, believe it or not. You know what I mean? But some of it has been a bit tepid. Yeah, I can't lie and turn around and go, well, it's been fantastic, but we've just been unlucky. We're conceding way too many chances, and watching a Moyes ball for the last couple of years, you don't, well, not last year, but the few, you don't really want to concede a lot of chances. We're not used to conceding a lot of chances like that. I think it's getting the balance right. We play a lot higher now, and we press a lot higher, and you'll see that in the fullbacks on Saturday. They're going to be high. Unless he completely overhauls it and mugs me off this week. But no, you'll see it. The fullbacks are high. Wan-Bissaka and Emerson are always high. And he plays like that, and he likes to revert to a free and get the... it's just trying to get this... When you've been playing Moyes ball, like some of these players have been playing for fucking so long, it's hard to get out of them habits, And I think that's what we're seeing at the moment. We're seeing like an infusion of both styles. And it's trying to get that into the fluid. But some of the football has been good, and I am quite looking forward to seeing when he gets, that whole thing sort of flowing his way, because we've got some brilliant attacking players. We've got some of the. There's not many people that will turn down Lucas Paqueta. There's not many people that turn down Kudus. There's not many people that turn down Bowen.
True.
And you know, if you get Fulkrug in that, you know, he's
Even
a
Somerville,
decent
you signed
striker.
in the summer,
Somerville,
he was
yeah.
well sought after.
Forgot about him, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Not many teams would turn down like a Todibo as well.
No,
right?
yeah. So we've got some fantastic players. Once they get going, I think Tadebo's the key, because I really don't like Mavropanos. You know, and I like him, but as the style of football, the way he gets caught high up the pitch and he ain't got the pace to get back. You know, I was thinking like, defensively, once he gets that solid, then we're going to start to see the best of the attacking, because I think what it is, we're getting a lot of our midfielders are dropping back. Yeah, we need that strong base. Todibo the other day was excellent. This is going to be the test for Todibo.
Listen, I thought it was madness. Like, you were just kept persisting with Mavropanos for the first 6 games. What was it? It was his first start against
Do you know
Ipswich.
what? Do you know what though? He came when I first saw him warming up. He was as fat as me.
Maybe.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. You know, I couldn't believe it.
Maybe
And
it's
I
a
thought,
fitness thing,
it's
yeah.
good- yeah, it's a fitness. It was definitely a fitness thing. Yeah, he had an actual belly. You know what I mean? I was thinking
That's madness.
he's not going to be seen for the for a good few months before he gets that off. But he's a big guy. You know what I mean? He's one of them guys that he's naturally solid. So he's going to put on weight if he don't. You know, he had that thing. He was up in the air with Juventus and all that sort of thing. So I don't think he was training much. And when he come to us and I see him on the training, I was thinking, fucking hell, like, he's actually got a belly. Like, so yeah, I wasn't surprised, but sometimes it's best to bed him in. Premier League's hard. You know, he's hard to sort of hit the ground, especially if you're unfit. He's going to get exposed and he's going to look like a bad player. Then you lose confidence. So I'm quite glad that he's sort of like bedded him in slowly. Yeah, so.
There was a bit of talk before. Obviously, you beat Ipswich 4-1 last game, but there was I don't know, maybe it was just media tabloid reports, but there was a bit of reports that Lopetegui was a bit under pressure before that game. You know, you drew, I think, the week before to like Brentford. You hadn't won in a few games, hadn't looked great. In your opinion, was that just like completely ridiculous talk?
It's tabloid talk.
Yeah.
Our owners are not going to be sacking people for the sake of sacking people. They're not like that. You know, they're the tightest fuckers that you'll ever meet, as a matter of fact. So they don't just sack people because, you know, there's no way they're going to give a guy £160 million in the summer and sack him after 5 games. No way on earth. I think the pressure is on Tim Stuyden, who is actually our director of football, because he's the one that's identified these. You know, excellent director of football. Goes out, you know, personally gets these people. And you know, anyone would be lucky to have him. But I think that, you know, Sullivan being Sullivan, has turned around and goes, he's under pressure because he's the one that's gone out and got all these players, identified these players, worked with a manager. He's gone and got them. It's cost us a lot of money. If that don't work, it's on him.
Sometimes with like directors of football and the scouting staff, you know, you don't see the fruits of their labour until like
No, of course.
You know, much longer down the road.
Look at the players he's brought in. Kudus, Lucas Paqueta, Kilman, I think he's an excellent player. Todibo, who was, you know, a lot of people around Europe wanted him. Wan-Bissaka, I'm a bit this on Wan-Bissaka, but at the end of the day, he's still a Man United player that could have gone to a lot of teams in the Premier League. Rodriguez, who was quite highly lauded, you know, he's gone out and got these personally. You know, gone and got these deals done, and people are believing in his vision. He's just got to make sure that vision comes off. Otherwise, Sullivan will cut him like that.
It was madness to me because like Sim messages me one day and he goes, yeah, Todibo's going to West Ham. Todibo heavily linked with West Ham. I was like, nah, Todibo's never going to go to West Ham.
No,
you know?
but
Juventus are linked and this one's linked, this one's linked, and then he ends up at where I couldn't believe it.
But that is him, and it was the same with Paqueta. Paqueta could have went anywhere. He was going Newcastle, he was going Arsenal. He ends up at West Ham.
What's going on with Paqueta? I heard these rumours about the Premier League want to ban him for life and all this kind of stuff.
I think it's
is this just rumours?
Hot air. But I have heard they are looking for a lifetime ban. So the last I heard of him, it was something to do with a mobile phone. So when the investigation started, he handed him the mobile phone and had it for 2 months, right? Premier League football ain't going to be sat there without a mobile phone for 2 months. So he's gone and bought himself a new phone. They've given it back to him. He's chucked it in the bin. Now they come back and said, we want that phone back. And he's turned around and went, well, I ain't got it. It's like 2 years ago. He's like, well, you need to find it. And he's like, it's gone. It's been destroyed. And they're like, well, that's going to go in the evidence against you. And I'm like, but he give it to you for 2 months. If you haven't found what you need to find in 2 months, like you can't go back to the guy 2 years later and go, like back here, unless they told him
to keep the phone.
But then if they told him to do that, I just said, well, you keep it. You know what I mean? Like, you've had it for 2 months.
But are there any like ITKs or anything that's suggesting there's something more to it? Like he could be in trouble.
He could be in trouble. He could be in trouble. He could be banned for life. I think it would be an absolute travesty to football, not just because it's West Ham, but I think to football, if a guy got banned for something like that, for not adding in a mobile phone, and you've had people like Sepp Blatter running FIFA, and you've got referees refereeing in World Cups that have been blatant done for, you know, and refereeing Bayern Munich Dortmund games that have been done for blatant corruption, blatant cheating. I think to lose talent like that in the game, he ain't going to play for us for long. You know what I mean? So, listen, if he gets banned for life, there's no skin off my nose.
Is this a Premier League ban or is it a worldwide FIFA ban?
World. It'll be. I mean, I'm assuming it's world. You know what I mean? But it's a UEFA ban.
But I mean, obviously, maybe I'm looking at this through like Spurs tinted glasses. But I saw when the allegations came out last year, what he was accused of basically getting booked on purpose.
Sus.
I saw like this compilation video of all the bookings he got. A lot of them did look pretty. I mean, when you saw that,
you've got to prove it.
I know, but
with anything, you've got to prove it.
I know he is the kind of player who does like a hard challenge, anyways. It's not like he's not like a player who is out of character to put in a difficult challenge. But I remember watching one video where he puts in one challenge, referee waves play on, then he puts in like another really hard challenge. It looks like he's looking to get booked.
But I think he's got that.
He does have that. You see him for Brazil as well.
Yeah, he's always just like that. There was one, and I think this could be the one that saves him, right? So there was one against Bournemouth where he punches the ball. Yeah, you see it. The ball comes to him, he punches it on the floor, and they books him. And someone's like, "That's a blatant, that's blatantly cheating." This is what that was in the 92nd minute.
Yeah.
Why would you do it in the 92nd minute? You're doing it in the 17th minute. Because there could be anything happen before that. You could be taken off. You could be injured or not. You wouldn't do it in the 92nd minute. You wouldn't wait till the 92nd minute to get booking. If you're going to go out and get proper, you're going to do it as early as possible. Because, as I say, you could be injured in the first half. You could be taken off. You could be subbed up. You're not going to do it in the 92nd minute. I just think that's the way he is. I'm looking through West Ham tinted glasses, and obviously it benefits us. But as I say, he's not going to be with us long. If he gets off of this, I don't think he'll be here in the summer. He wouldn't have been here for the last 2 summers if
the thing didn't come around. He was about to go to Man City, wasn't
Twice.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if he gets off it again, I mean, I've heard some rumours about Man City, which they may not be doing anything anytime soon. But I think if he gets off of that, I think they come in January because Rodri's injured for the season.
But there were rumours of Paqueta going to Brazil in the summer. Was there anything to that?
It was just because of the ban, because he couldn't. They didn't think he was going to be allowed to play here. So they just turned around and went, "Come back here. You can play here. We'll let you play here."
If it's a UEFA ban, he can't be stopped playing in Brazil.
Also about Kudus, there was something going on about Kudus because obviously at the Brentford game he got taken off at half time. There were rumours that he had a bit of a bust up with Lopetegui. Was there anything to that?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, he came back and scored the next game, didn't he?
Yeah, but I wonder if there was any.
I think Kudus is too happy with the way things are going. I'll be honest, I don't think he is. That's the way I look at it. He's not the same player.
You don't think he's as good this season?
No, he puts in shifts every week. But because of the balance of play at the moment, we're not getting the best. He's being shoved out on the left. He's better on the right. And I think he's sort of like venting his frustrations to the new manager. I like that. You know what I mean? Because it shows you want to play.
Problems, though, isn't
it? Yeah, of
course.
You
get him in the right
balance,
position.
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so
what are you making out of
the right position? Because if Bowen's on the right, though, how are you going to fit him in?
That's just the problem. It's a good problem to have. I said at the beginning.
He can play central, but then Paqueta's playing central.
But I said at the beginning of the season, if you've got to play him over Bowen, so be it. That's really? You've got to.
You think he's better than Bowen?
It depends. Bowen's brilliant.
Yeah.
Bowen is brilliant, but at times Paqueta's a more effective player. If you're going for goals and Bowen goes central, we can score goals.
What about a number 9? Have you tried him there yet? West Ham tried him.
Can't Kudus play in the 10?
I think he can, but Paqueta plays there.
Because when I saw your summer business, I always envisaged Somerville left, Bowen right, probably Paqueta dropping into the 8, Kudus 10 and then well, that's what I envisaged, but he hasn't quite done that.
No. He likes that. I think he likes that base. I think while we're still getting, he likes that Alvarez Rodriguez base. I'm not convinced on Rodriguez, if I'm honest. I think he's too slow. I think he's still got to build into the Premier League, a bit like Alvarez when he first came in. But we've also got Souček, who he loves to play because he scores goals and he's brilliant in the box when we're defending, So yeah, it's a good problem to have, But at the end of the day, I think you go back to sort of like the Sven-Göran Eriksson problem: square pegs, round holes. What's the point? Play your best players. That's why teams like Spain and that are so successful, because they have to leave players out like David Villa or Fernando Torres. They don't turn around and go, well, we've got David Villa and Fernando Torres and Xavi and Iniesta and all of it. Let's play Torres on the left.
Just look at England the other night.
Yeah, that was awful. The Greece game was awful. You know what I mean? Like Carsley. I know we've got a new manager now, but people are saying like he beat Finland, and they're saying give Carsley the job. Like, did you watch the Greece game? Anyone with half an attack, we was getting skinned by.
I think they got the right man now in Tuchel. I think he's going to do a good job, but we'll leave that conversation for another day. But I want to know your opinion on Spurs, because you've seen Ange Postecoglou for a year now. Haven't started this. I think when you're looking at the general play, I think we've actually been pretty good this season, but haven't got consistent results. Do you think Spurs are going in the right direction?
Do you know what? I'm having this discussion with Abby tomorrow on a Millie, but I'll leave that for my channel. I'm having this discussion with Abby tomorrow. Who's further along in terms of the progress? Because you've come from this and we've come from this, and we've sort of plateaued, and I think you're still here, and I think we're still here, but I think you've got to get this right with Ange. You've got to get this right, and I love Ange's style of play, and I know it was so positive. It's horrible when you go from such tepid football, like Conte's, like football, sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. When it's successful, you deal with it. This is the same as Moyes. When it's successful and you're getting results, you think, right, okay. When it starts to go wrong, and you're watching that tepid football and getting beat, you think, no, this is not football anymore. So I know it's such an exciting thing. I think that the problem with Ange, and this is just my opinion, and obviously I'm not a Spurs fan. I don't watch Spurs every week. I can't turn around and say I've watched every minute of every game. But the problem with Ange, I think he's got the same sort of problem as Bielsa had. He's got that one style of football, and he's going at it 100 mile an hour. It's so exciting, but there's times when the Premier League is such a fast-moving league, and to be honest with you, I think people like Pep, and this is a discussion, I think they're fucking ruined football, because it's not a fast-paced action game anymore. It's a game of chess. So when you've got a manager, it's refreshing to see, but these managers like Pep and that, they work that out, and they go, right, well, this is how we're going to deal with that, and this is how we're going to play football, and this is how we're going to beat them 1-0 or 2-0, and you've got to get to the point where Ange can turn around and go, right, well, if they do that, we're going to do this. And I think that's where he's going wrong.
You say that, but I think for the most part, like Jurgen Klopp, a manager who actually took a league off Pep Guardiola, also had just one way of playing, didn't he? For the most part, anyway.
I think his team was so fluid, though.
Yeah,
and
it's about getting the right team.
It's about getting the right, but yeah, and I think if Ange does that, but are they going to give him enough time to do that?
They have to.
Klopp had 9 years.
Yeah,
and you look at in them 9 years, he had Mane, he had Salah, he had Firmino, maybe one other floating about. But for the base of that 9 years, that was his team. He never changed it. They knew what they was doing. You watch Liverpool under Klopp; it was so fluid. They'd fucking rotate like cogs. The midfielder would go here, and then that means Sane would go here. They was like, it was really difficult to defend against, because they was constantly rotating, and everybody knew their jobs. But it gets to a point, like I remember when Klopp first came to West Ham, we beat them in the cup. The team was awful. It was fucking terrible. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking to him, and it just come off the Borussia Dortmund job where we hadn't done that well. He nearly got relegated with Borussia Dortmund. And I was thinking, what's this geezer like? You know what I mean? We was linked to him at one point. I said, we'll have him. What a fucking fool I am, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, but when he come to that, before he built that base, and he got them trusted players, it wasn't great. It wasn't great to watch. But once he got that base in, and that's why they're still going now. That's why people like Salah, because it's such a fluid motion. They knew what they was doing. They knew who was playing. They knew it was either going to be this, or this.
So what do you think Spurs are missing then? If you were looking at the team, what are you not convinced about?
I think Kulusevski's fell off a cliff. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Kulusevski.
You haven't seen him this season.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't watch.
He's been absolutely brilliant. He's
when
got
I
a new
first
role
saw him, but when I saw him, when I've watched him a couple of times, he looks like he's not the same player to me. But as I say, I don't watch him every week, so I can't turn around and go, well, I watch him every minute of every game.
If you're judging on last year's Kulusevski, I would have agreed with you. But this year's Kulusevski is completely different.
Maybe I haven't been paying attention. I've been looking more at Solanke. I love Solanke. I would have wanted Solanke myself. 65 million is very, very steep for him, and you have to bed him in. You know what I mean? Like again, moving from even when you move from Premier League to Premier League, bigger expectation at Spurs and Bournemouth. You know what I mean? Like a lot more pressure, a lot more eyes on you. He hasn't quite hit the ground running.
Well, I think Solanke's been brilliant. I think he's been brilliant. You know what you associate Solanke with, like being a fox in the box, getting a lot of goals, right? It was what he did last season for Bournemouth. But I've been actually surprised how well he's been able to drop deep, link the play together, build up play, his physical strength, his pressing. I think everything apart from his finishing has actually been top notch for us.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, well, that's your opinion. And I said I only go by what I watch, and I when I've seen him, he hasn't. But maybe I'm not watching him in that way. You know, you're keeping your eyes on him. You know what the Kulusevskis of the world can do. You know what the Sons of the world can do. Losing Kane is hard for anyone. I know it's 2 years ago. It's hard. It's hard to replace a player like Harry Kane.
And I think you might be finding that with Rice as well, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're irreplaceable players. They're players that they're world class. They play for top clubs, and when you lose them, they're difficult. You can't find a replacement. We had to replace Rice with 3 players.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's hard, but I think Ange will get there. But I just hope he's given the time. You know what I mean? Like I know there's a couple of people that are starting to sort of like prick their ears up at him and go, well, maybe he's not the geezer. And I think that's harsh to do that so early because it's such an exciting. I thought he was so exciting, and he was a breath of fresh air, and all the high line, mate, and all that sort of thing. I loved all that. You know what I mean? So it's refreshing because football has become fucking boring with Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp playing these games of chesses with each other. Arteta, yeah, that fucking tosser. I can't stand him either. But
something we can all agree on.
But you know, when you get exciting managers like that, you know, I hope that this tepid, stale, fucking horrible game of boring, you know, fucking everyone's a robot. I hope it gets pushed out by managers like Ange because I want to see that sort of football. I'll go back to the early 2000s and I watched the football from the early 2000s. It was so much exciting. People are going at each other like it's like a street fight. When you look at it now, it's got a game of chess. Like he moves there, right? He moves there. He moves. And it's just
players get touched, go down.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But you look at it in the 2000s, late 90s, 2000s. It was 100 miles an hour. It's a different game, and you had quality players everywhere. Now you're seeing a quality striker like Haaland who can do one thing. You're seeing a winger that can run fast. You're seeing a defender that can head the ball. They can do one job really well. You know what I mean? Whereas back in the 2000s, it was more. I don't know. It just seemed more done. Maybe I'm looking at it with rose.
But do you reckon because it's maybe because of the money in the game now and like how much is riding on every game and every competition?
Yeah, like as you say, like the game is. To use an old word, the game's gone. The game is fucking gone. You know what I mean? Like because you got people battling out for points.
Got people vlogging and interviewing outside.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's. But no. I mean, in terms of the money, I think the entertainment business, the vlogging business, best thing that happened to football in the last 20 years because I can't listen to these people, talking nonsense about things that they don't understand on the radio and the TV, only concentrating on the Man Uniteds and the Arsenals and the ones that they go and see week in week out. They want to pay the most money for. They want to promote their brand. I can't stand it. And I think vlogging and things like that is the best thing that's happened because you can get a feel what happens in real life.
That's absolutely right because after we beat Man U 3-0 a couple of weeks ago, all the analysis was all about Man United.
How bad Man United were.
I was like trying to find a channel where I just spoke about Spurs for 10 minutes straight. I couldn't find one.
Well, we used to. I mean, Spurs are in that conversation as well. You get a bit more coverage than say someone like Brentford or Brighton, even even though Brighton have been up there for the last few years. You watch a Brighton versus Brentford match on the telly, you get the game. Them talking about 10 minutes, they can't wait to get back to analysing what happened against Man United and Arsenal over the weekend, or Liverpool and Man City. You get a 10-minute, it's just like we're going to be talking about all of them big teams that happened over the weekend with a game in between. We get that over and done with, then we'll go back to... That's all it is.
I feel like they only overanalyse Spurs when we lose.
Yeah, of course. It's always about their, their agenda. They want to push this league. They want to push it. That's their Man United being bad is the worst thing. I remember I read a quote, and I couldn't believe this quote was real, right? And it was Richard Scudamore, who was the Premier League, and he turned around and went, "If Man United don't make the top four, it'd be disaster for the Premier League." That is disgraceful for a competition, for the leader of the competition
CEO,
to be saying it will be a disaster for the Premier League. To put your and then you wonder why they used to get fucking Fergie time and things like that, Long live the fucking fall of Man United, that's what I say.
Do you feel like then...
I don't know where we got. Well, I don't know.
I don't know how we got there. We diverged a little bit. Do you think, though, like coming into the game tactically, West Ham will stick with that high line, high fullbacks, or will you look at the way Spurs play, all guns blazing?
Two high lines for life.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we'll be playing in the middle of the pitch. No, do you know what? I think we're going to revert to a bit deeper. I do. I can, because we know what Spurs are going to do. You're going to come at us. I mean, I know what Spurs are going to do, but there's
everyone knows what Spurs are going to do.
I think we go a bit deep. I think it's going to be a good game, this one. I think it'd be rip roaring, to be honest with you. From our end, I think you're going to come at us. I don't think we're going to try and soak it up. I think we're going to come at you as well. I don't know what's going to happen.
I remember last year.
I don't know.
I remember last year when we were previewing the game. Obviously, you said Moyes. I don't think you're on great form, and you came in the studio and you were down in the dumps. You were like, "We're going to get beat 3-4-0. It was going to be over." And obviously, you came away with a 2-1 win.
Sim, it should have been 3 or 4-0.
It should have been.
It should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been 5-6-0.
Yeah.
I was watching it. First half, we should have been 6-0 down. Just couldn't finish. You scored one goal. And you had about 5 or 6.
And then we gave you 2 goals.
And then a doggy just plays you through on goal. And
we had 2 chances.
Yeah.
2 chances the whole game. It's pissing down the rain. It was a horrible night, to be honest with you.
And so,
come out there smiling, but...
And you think on this occasion, obviously there's a different feel around the club, but around the team, but you're more confident of getting a result. Even though you did win last year, you're more confident this time.
I think we've got the players now that can go toe-to-toe. I'm not going to say we can go toe-to-toe with a Man City or an Arsenal at the moment, but I think we've got the players there that can hurt a lot of teams if we get it right. But we've also got the players there that can let us down and let teams like Tottenham demolish us. So it depends what one turns up. But if you look at the player for player, I think you edge it in terms of squad. I think, but we're getting there. We are getting there.
Are you looking this season at Tottenham as a team you can finish above? Like, is that like a target?
I'm not going to be fucking sucked into that one. I'm not going to be sucked into that. I've seen on the fighting cock.
Let me see chess.
I've seen on the fighting cock. They still fucking pull it up now.
That's it. Yeah. That preview. Yeah.
I'm not going to get sucked into that one again.
Nice try.
I think you've got to. I think you've got to, and I don't mean it any disrespect to anyone. Like, I want to finish above Man United. You know what I mean? Because I think that's
and you're well within your rights to.
And I think but we're 7 games. I mean, you can't make any predictions. I think we're going to finish strong. But when you look at Tottenham, if we beat them this weekend. We've had an awful start. We could go above you. So if I'm sitting here turning around and going, we've got no chance now, I might as well chuck my season ticket in the bin and go and sit at home. So I think I've got to. Do you know what I want to do? I want to go back to Europe. That's all I want to do. I want to go back to Europe. I think it's going to do us a favour not having Europe this year, in terms of like the transition. But why not?
If I offered you a Conference League spot right now, would you take it?
Take your hand off.
Yeah, take your hand off.
I'll take you. But a lot of these people, because I see it a lot with teams like Arsenal. They don't like teams like us. Sort of like saying, well, maybe we can beat you this week. They don't like it because they don't. Well, Stan, who are you? Look at Aston Villa. Look at where Aston Villa come from in such a short space of time. They're dreaming. They're playing in the Champions League. They're beating Bayern Munich. They're sitting fucking top of the league again. You know what I mean? Like one change. That's all it takes. One change, one player to come in.
That's it. With so much money in the every Premier League team is so rich.
They've
and
got
they
the
can
potential
to buy
to go
good
and
players.
make
Look at
that.
Brighton. Look at how stacked their squad are.
Brighton is you know that's the I think that's the dream. You know what I mean? Like if they could keep their players, they'd be winning the Premier League without a doubt. But that's the but you know you get all these people like Arsenal. Oh, just sit down. Who are you? You know what I mean? You've got a dream.
There's no bad team in
no
like
bad
the top
team. No.
11, 12 in the Premier League.
No,
They're all really good
but
teams.
even when you go to we went and beat Arsenal last year 2-0 at the Emirates, and they was on top form. We was in poor form. Then they come to us when we was a bit better, and they beat 6-0. It's like that again. You know what I mean? So. You know, I don't like to turn around and say, no, we ain't got no chance. I think everyone's got a chance. And I think that's what you should be aiming for. If you didn't want to finish above everyone, don't go to the football. Just chuck your ticket in the bin and sit on the floor.
Do you reckon Tottenham can win a trophy this season?
I don't think this season.
Europa League?
Could, yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, I forgot you was in Europa. Yes, yeah. They could win the Europa League. Will they? I don't know.
Score prediction, Nicky?
I'm going to back us to win, you know.
Win?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1.
I like that because you backed us to batter you last season.
Yeah.
And you won. So hopefully it's reverse role reversal. This is what you go for.
We don't have a great record against them at our place, do we?
We have a terrible record in London derbies, and that's what gets me really kind of apprehensive coming into this game. Arsenal, Chelsea, and Andrew's got to be doing better in these games. He's got to
I'm
be
saying
doing a
since
lot
we moved
better.
to the new stadium, how many times have they beaten us?
Was it 3? Is it
They
2
beat
or
us
3?
last year. They beat us the first time as well. Is that it?
How many years you been there?
Been there since 2020.
So it's 4.
No, 2019. Sorry, 2019.
Yeah,
They've
because
beaten us
I went
2
to
or
the
3
first one. It
times.
was pre-COVID.
They beat us in the cup at our place as well.
Did
Was
they
that
beat
one?
us?
It's pretty even now. There was one point
Not
where
good enough. That's what it is.
there was one point where you beat us. I think you'd beat us so many times at the London Stadium,
Yeah.
and I think you'd ended up winning more times there than we did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So these games are up in the air. And I never like to predict these games. These are tough games because I've been there before when we've been absolutely awful and we've beat you, and then I've been there before when we've been absolutely flying and got absolutely demolished. I remember going there in 15, 16, we was on fire and you beat us 4-1. Then I've been there when we've been 2-0 up and lost 3-2.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So
Stalteri.
yeah, but then I've watched the telly when we was 3-0 down, and we come back and drew 3-3. So I don't like to
bring that
predict
one
these
up.
You had
games.
to bring that one up right in this studio, the Lanzini moment. Literally every West Ham fan I walk past, they go, "Oh, Lanzini."
Yeah, I was in a
Lanzini."
pub the other day and they go, "Oh, Lanzini."
I used to, do you know what? I've met him a couple of times as well, and do you know what? Every Spurs fan I meet is always fucking content creators, fantastic. I love expression. I think you've got some of the best content creators. I think so. In because expressions, I love him to death. I love him to bits. I love Abby Summers to bits. But Ben Spurs.
Ben
Was it Ben Spurs? Is that his name?
Who's Ben Spurs?
Ben Borman.
Ben Borman, yeah.
Borman.
And he was, and he used to film himself singing. I fucking loved him to death. And I met him in Ball Street.
He's great,
And I'll
yeah.
never forget when we drew that game, and I was watching a bit of his content, and he cracks open this cider. And he goes, "Fucking
Dark Fruit
Lanzini."
Strongbow.
Yeah. Fucking Lanzini. That's the best of fucking iconic moments. And I think you boys have had some iconic moments on the internet.
We've had,
Iconic in
if
the
you're a
West
West
Ham
Ham fan, we've had many iconic moments
No.
going into it.
I
Even the
haven't
one when
one
you said
myself.
you were going to jib us in the face.
I'm not going to jib anyone.
If I'm predicting the game, I am going to predict Spurs to win. The reason why is because when I've seen West Ham this season against the bigger teams, I think you just give up too much territory. I think you allow them too much time on the ball.
Yes.
When I
think
saw
they'll do
them,
that with Spurs.
I think they will, and I think they're going to come away from home. I think Lopetegui's the kind of manager where he'll in this kind of game. I think he's going to sit back and he's going to give us like when I saw them. You've played City this season. You played Chelsea. I can't remember what other big teams you played, but I've seen you play these
Villa.
bigger teams, Villa. Especially that first half against Villa, you just sit back too much
yeah,
and you
yeah.
allow them too much time on the ball. And I think if you do that to us, you'll be in trouble. So I am going to go.
But we
for a
did
Spurs
do that
win.
last year, and you never.
True,
It
but
was just about putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had the chances.
Last
Yeah.
year we had a lot of injuries. We had a lot of bad players out.
Yeah, but we had the chances to win the game.
And also
more
we
than
have
enough
the
chances.
chances. But we're a better team, I feel like, this year. So I feel like also we got more offensive players. We're going to have Decky next to Maddison this year. I think Maddison was out last year in that game. I think we're playing Emerson and Davis centre back
Also,
that game.
we got options off the bench this time as well. Sonny's back as well.
Sonny's back.
Richarlison and Solanke, we can swap them. So
I think
we've got a lot of options.
if you do the same again this year as you did last year, and you give us that, or give us the impetus, you don't try and stop us playing.
Yeah.
Then I think you could be in trouble. So I'm gonna. I've predicted 4-1 Spurs.
4-1 Spurs.
4-1, yeah.
Bloody.
This is another one of them moments, isn't it? Ben, slap him around the face. He's telling him to
4-1
stop.
Spurs.
I predicted West Ham to win. What are you chatting about?
Absolutely. No, you listen. Opinions are like arseholes.
I can't see us winning 4-1, but I'm going to go. I just can't predict anything but a Spurs win. We have to win this game with our record in London derbies. So
What happens if you lose?
what happens if we lose? Then
We're above you. Then we've had a
You're
bad
above us.
start.
It depends on the manner of the defeat. Because
What happens if we go and win 4-1? Let's chuck the cat amongst
you-
the pigeons.
no,
You're
here.
not winning 4-1.
If you win 4-1, there's obviously serious questions have to be asked. But
But on the back of that
don't
second
think that'll
half
happen.
against Brighton, we have to come out firing out the traps. We have to have a big performance here. We have to respond. There's no question about it. If we don't, then there's going to be massive questions on Ange. Massive.
Yeah. Does he go at some? If that happens, does he go?
I don't.
he
I
doesn't
want
go.
to.
Or do the questions start being asked? You know.
No.
Questions start being
Serious
asked. I
questions.
want to see. I want to see us persist with him, even if we have a bad season this year.
Yeah,
I just
no,
want
I
to see
think
us
you're
see
right.
through a project.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right to do that. As I said, I want to see people like Ange in the Premier League because they're exciting, and that's what I want football to be again, exciting.
But I'm going to go 2-1 to Spurs. I think it's going to be a really tight game, but I think Spurs. I think we just have that bit more quality, and I think we're going to edge it on the day. But that is Nicky.